Howdy folks. So, as some of you may know, I am a computer engineer, and I haven't done any videos about computers yet, and that's a little bit unfortunate. I've been doing mostly teardowns simply because, well, teardowns are quick and easy, and everyone seems to like them. But it's just mostly because I just haven't had a lot of stuff that I can actually show you guys, and I mean, most of the stuff I'm working on right now is top secret, private, and at some point I'd hope to be able to make it public, but definitely not right now. And unfortunately, I've been dedicating all my time and money towards those things, so not much else to really show you. So anyway, one of the things I've needed for a while is a dedicated Windows machine, bare metal. I only have Linux machines. I haven't used Windows in about 7 years now. So I happen to need a Windows machine, and yeah, I could create a VM and that would be quick and easy, but that's boring. So I dug this old machine out. This is oh man, this was basically it's a trash machine. I found, I think, every single part in this in the trash at some point, including the case, which is actually quite a nice Antec case. It's one of those special noise dampened cases. It's got air filters. I don't like the drive bays in this case. They're really weird. They pull out like this, and they're all mounted vertically. I don't like mounting drives like this. I know that a lot of people will argue it doesn't matter, but I don't like mounting drives like this. It's just weird to me. This used to be a server for me actually at one point. That's why it's got so many drives in it. These are all, I think, 80 gigabyte SATA 1 drives, all trash picked, of course. And this actually used to be a VM host. I think it used to run about 5 or 6 VMs, Linux VMs, on top of a Linux hypervisor for about a year and a half, I guess. But the idle power consumption of this thing was pretty stupid. I mean, it was probably 130 watts or something. So anyway, I'm gonna, of course, it's been decommissioned for at least 8 months to a year now. Really, it's just been sitting gathering dust. So I thought I might as well use this for a dedicated Windows box, considering I'm not really doing anything else with it. So obviously it's got 6 of these. It's actually got 4 SATA disks, and I believe this cage here, which of course I think is screwed in now, these are actually IDE drives, and these were all in, I think, a RAID 5 MD RAID array. The I/O performance was pretty bad, but it didn't have to be good. It was mostly a processing machine. It's got an AMD Phenom. It's a quad-core Phenom. I mean, I don't remember. All of my machines have Intel CPUs. This is the only AMD machine that I have. I mostly buy Intel simply because their efficiency is much better, especially for servers. I mean, my main app server now has got an Intel CPU in it, and I think that thing idles at 20 watts for an app server. That's pretty bloody amazing. A lot better than the 145 watts its predecessor, which was a dual Xeon, used. I still have that. It's a 1U rack mount. One of these days I'll have a video showing you my little data center and all the servers I've got and what I'm doing with them and all that stuff. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, this drive I think I was testing some stuff with. Not a terribly great 430 watt power supply. It's good enough. It's got weird fans and stuff. There's a fan that's mounted down there. I think that fan's dead. I think that fan's okay. Right now it's got probably 6 gigs of DDR2 1066. That's my guess. 2 Intel Gigabit network cards, because this was a server. So I bonded these into Gigabit, 2 Gigabit bond with the Linux if enslave or if enslave, or however the hell you want to pronounce that. That was a round robin bond. All of my servers have this. It's actually saved my ass more than once because of cable failures. If one cable fails, then all traffic just diverts to the other NIC. and other things like that. I mean, you get more I/O bandwidth, all that good stuff. So anyway, this thing also has a floppy connector as well, and I have a bunch of floppy disks that I found, and I'd like to read them. I want to see if there's anything on them. So I don't have many machines with that on there, so I think I'll once I get Windows installed on this, or maybe even before I install Windows, I'll connect up a floppy drive and just get the data off those disks before they deteriorate any further. Because I think some of those disks are from my childhood, and I'd love to see what's on them before it's all gone forever. So anyway, because I want to install Windows, obviously I need a drive, and I've actually taken an inventory of all my hard drives, and as it turns out, I have a spreadsheet, and it says that I own 60 hard drives. 60 drives. That's a lot. I really didn't think my collection had gotten that big. So I have no shortage of finding a disc for this. But I thought maybe it's a little bit masochistic, but I thought I'd maybe just for shits and giggles, maybe I'll reinstall later. I'd try some SCSI discs I have. And I found these. They are 4 IBM Ultrastar. So, I mean, you know they're old by the fact that they're made by IBM. I mean, they sold their entire disk division to Hitachi. But the discs are dated from June 2000, March 2001, September 2000, and the newest disc is February 2002. This is a different model than the other 3 discs. I got these, I think, again, out of the trash. These were from some old server. And I got with them, I got an Adaptec card. This is a PCIX card, and of course this machine doesn't have PCIX, it's only got PCI. So the I/O bandwidth is going to suck ass, but whatever. And I've also got, of course, the cable and the terminator, because you need that for Ultra 320 SCSI, so you don't get reflections. So anyway, these discs, I mean, they're 15 years old, and they predate SMART. So I have no idea if these discs are healthy or not. So what I think, because I've got a hardware RAID controller, I think what I'll do is I will RAID 0 the 4 of these, and just for shits and giggles, try and install Windows 7 on that. I mean, they're 36.7 gigs each, so that's, I mean, it's plenty of space for a simple Win 7 install, and they're 10,000 RPM. So I mean, The bad thing is going to be the fact that it's running on PCI, so I'd say the data rate is probably going to be shit. I mean, I wouldn't expect this to be better than 60 to 80 megs a second total throughput, and I have no idea what the seek time on this would be, especially in a RAID 0 array. I have no idea, but just for shits and giggles, and because I want to hear these drives, because these drives sound awesome, because they're 10,000 RPM. So you know they're good when they spin that fast. I mean, I just want to fire these up. I just need an excuse to fire these up, because these are heavy server drives. I mean, I know enterprise drives. I mean, I've worked with enterprise drives, and they are made a lot better than consumer drives, but not. I don't think they make them as good as this anymore. I mean, that's heavy. There's a lot of metal in this. It's just for the sake of vibration dampening. And I mean, even the way that the board is laid out, I mean, even the packages they've used, the types of the jumpers they've got, this is all modular. You can take this off and replace it. I mean, they've even got a little connector there for the flat flex for the motor. Enterprise grade stuff is great. It's too bad it's too bloody expensive. That's why 90% of the stuff I have is used, trash picked stuff, because I mean, there would be no way I'd afford these. Obviously you can buy these probably off eBay and stuff for basically next to nothing, but, or actually maybe not, because I'm not sure, do they still make 36.7 gig drives? I never owned any servers that had that capacity, and I know that there's a lot still in production, so they must still make those, or at least sell them somehow, because I know a few companies I've worked for and they still run those. So yeah, actually, maybe these do fetch some money. Maybe not ones this old, but at least drives of that type. So anyway, I think I'll strip out all the old drives, try and shove these in a floppy disk drive in there, and we'll fire it up and see how it sounds. So, as it turns out, the cable, there's no way that this was going to go in the 5¼ inch bays, even with the adapters and the bars. It wasn't going to fit because of this cable, especially because the cable's upside down. It goes from the bottom up. I don't understand why the cables are oriented that way. Anyway, so I've just taken my super fancy, high-tech, insulating Bounty paper towels here and kind of just shoved the drives in here. You can tell I don't give a fuck, and it's because I don't. If these drives burn up and die, I mean, well, that's sort of what I wanted to happen anyway, so. I mean, if these drives don't die on their own, I'm going to help them along at some point because I have no reason to hold on to these. So, yeah, anyway, I've just taken out one of the network cards because I only need one for this. Windows is, getting Windows to bond to NICs, well, I mean, unless you have driver support, that's basically impossible. Whereas with Linux, you can bond anything to anything. So I just inserted that there. And don't even know which one of these is the primary. I don't really care. So I'll hook up a monitor to this, and we'll fire it up, and we'll see if we can build a RAID array. So I've just connected up the power. The standby LED's on. Got a shitty old keyboard and monitor. And oh, almost forgot. I think I've got Ubuntu of some form on this USB flash drive in case it actually does boot. We'll at least have something for it to do. So let's boot it up, and I don't even remember what key it is to get into that BIOS. Hopefully it's like, I don't know, hopefully it flashes on the screen. Let's listen to this. Yeah, SCSI card's not doing anything. It's possible that I need to use the other port. Let's kill this and try that. I know the Terminator's on, right? Okay. Let's try this now. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so that control is configured for one only. There's probably a way to make the other port work, but I'm too bloody lazy. Now that is interesting. So this is already a RAID 0 array. I named it LOL. Oh, that's my go-to. Whenever I want to name something and I'm too lazy to come up with a name, I just call it LOL. So many pieces of code have variables named LOL. That's strange. So not only is... so obviously it's optimal, it's working. I mean, all the disks are detected. My camera does not like this LCD. Wow, I kind of want to see what's installed on it now. Yeah, you know what? Before I destroy this, let me boot into this. I do like that that noise though. That healthy 10,000 RPMs. Let's make sure I boot off of that, not the USB flash drive. I can't get over how there's actually something on this. This has to be a Linux install or something. Yeah. No, it failed to boot. This is definitely the flash disk. This has to be the flash drive, so I'm gonna say it failed to boot. Man, the sounds that thing's making brings me back. So let me get back into the setup menu for the... Okay, so let's configure this. Okay, delete array, yes, I'm sure. Excellent. Create 0. Let's use all the disks. 64K sounds fine. Lol 2, because we gotta be different. Yeah, we'll make it bootable. That thing really didn't do anything. Okay. So, I guess let's boot into the flash drive, boot into Ubuntu, and I guess benchmark it. Well, so this happens to be a 14.04.2, so it's actually relatively recent desktop image. And it actually appears like this thing has onboard 3D, because that's not Unity TD, not Unity 2D. So that's actually not terribly slow either. So let's open up Palimpsest. Holy hell. What the fuck? Wow, that drive controller does not know how to enumerate. That's funky. How many disks are there? What the shit? Yeah, Palimpsest is not happy right now. SDP, SDQ. How far does this go? SDAA? Oh man. Not very often that you see 2 letters. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so which one of these is the actual array? 0.5 kilobyte hard disk. Wow, okay, so which one of these is the actual 147 gig volume? So it appears that it has not detected this as an array. It appears it's only detected this as individual disks. So unfortunately, in fact, it's actually detected some partition tables from some tests I think I was doing a long time ago on these drives. So yeah, I don't think I can use that volume, which is kind of unfortunate. Let's see, I can probably benchmark one of these. Now, this is only a single disk, unfortunately, not the entire array as I wanted. And it appears that there is definitely something wrong, because that is not supposed to be like that. These disks are slow, but they're not that slow. Something's wrong. Let's see, is the other disk just as bad? Yeah, I think there's something wrong here. You know what? I'd like to go out and get a let me get my Windows install disk and see if Windows even sees this as an damn it. Windows does not have a driver for that. I'm not sure if it ever did. Probably never did. And I am not searching for a bloody driver from 2003 to get that card working. Well, scrap this idea. I think what I'll do is I'm going to take the drives out of the array, make them just independent disks, reboot back into Ubuntu, and see if I can make an MD RAID array. Do it all in software. How about that? Yeah, that'll work. So I've deleted the array, and I booted back into Ubuntu here, and you can see that it's not nearly as bad, but there's still some funky business going on here with these half a kilobyte disks. If you look at gparted detects, of course, the flash drive that I'm installing Ubuntu from, and 4 devices, 2 of which are correct, but 2 of which are 512 bytes. Yeah, I don't quite understand what's going on there. So I don't get it. I mean, it detects it with a unique serial number, so that is indeed the drive, but it thinks it's 512 bytes for some reason. That's I don't remember it being like this last time I tried these drives out. Let me look at the kernel log. Well, the syslog sort of shines a little bit of light onto this. You'll notice right here, SDC, for example, is one of the devices that's reading as only half a K, and you can see it's unable to read the partition table, so it truncates it because it thinks it's beyond the end of the device, which is kind of strange. So I'm going to try and DD some data, try and overwrite any funky business going on in the beginning of the disk, and see if I can get them to be detected correctly. Because unless it detects them, until I can get them detected as 37 gig drives, I can't make an array with them, and that doesn't help me at all. So I formatted a couple of them, or tried to DD stuff. I couldn't write any bytes to the disks. I rebooted, all the random disks are back. Something is very, very wrong here. I think I'm going to unplug all the disks except for one, and just see how just one disk acts. Go through them one by one, and see if I can, maybe you just even get 2 disks working would make me happy at this point. I just want to be able to make an array and bench it. That's all I really want to do. So I've unplugged all but only the top disk. This is one of the ones that makes some weird noises every once in a while. I don't think the noises have anything to do with it, because it should still be okay. I mean, I can format the disk. Actually, no, I can't. It's showing as half a K. So I'm going to see if I can get the RAID card itself to format the disk, because it's very possible that there's something wrong in some sector the kernel's getting confused about. Disk utilities. I think there's a format option if I remember correctly. Yeah, there we go. Format disk. There we go. Don't tell me this is a full, like, sector by sector format. God damn it. I don't want to wait this long. Now, actually, you know what? If this is logical, it's going to start at sector 0 and work its way through. So I'll let it run for a minute or two. By then it'll be quite a few sectors into the disk, and I mean, the OS only really checks the first few sectors for any kind of partition information, so theoretically I shouldn't have to let this complete. Haha, success. So about 30 seconds of formatting, and that was enough to wipe out the beginning of the drive, and now it's detected correctly. So theoretically I should be able to use gparted to put something on this disk. So we have dev_sdb, unallocated, excellent. So let's create a partition table. DOS, why not? GPT's not going to help us here. Let's make the ext4. Okay, cool, so we have a partition that is mountable. Excellent. Okay, it's not going to let me mount it because weird quirks, but that's fine. Or quirks. Anyway, I can bench it right here, actually. There we go. Those look more normal figures. They're still shit, but I mean that's expected, at least for the read rate. The write rate is that's abysmal. Holy crap! I mean that's far worse than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like maybe half, but not like a tenth. Wow. I kind of want to see what the access time is, though. That looks pretty constant. I just want to see the access time. Man, that was awesome. Okay, so that's a pretty wide pattern. 8.2 milliseconds. Yeah, it's actually not bad. That actually is not bad. I'm impressed by the access time. Not by the read rate or the write rate, but the access time's not bad. Okay, so at least now I know how to get all the drives working. So I'm going to go format each one partially, individually, and then I'll come back. I can create an array, and then we'll try this on a RAID 0 MD RAID array. And there we are. We have 4 disks, all of which are 37 gigabytes. That's what I should have seen the first time around. So anyway, let's make an array with these. I'm not going to bother with the command line because I don't really care about this array. RAID 0, we'll call it lol. Ah, damn it. I forgot the Ubuntu Live CD doesn't come with MDATM. That means I gotta get network to this machine. This keeps getting harder and harder. And it keeps getting more and more messed up. It's already duplicated some disks. You know, at this point, I just don't care anymore. I was probably, you know, it's probably MDATM that probably screwed this up, not the Adaptec RAID card, because it's now starting to look like what it was before with those weird model numbers and stuff. Yeah, I think MDATM is what completely pooched this the first time. Well, I don't really care anymore, and anyway, this thing is getting hot as balls right now. I mean, everything in this is like infinity degrees. I mean, this is all supposed to have, these are all supposed to have airflow on them, and ow. Yeah, they don't have any airflow, so they're a bit toasty, but the chipset on this is why I hate AMD systems, is just that chipset, that copper heatsink on the board there is, I mean, it's gotta be like 80, 90 degrees right now. I know that there's no case airflow, and I know people are gonna bitch at me about that, but like, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's a fucking chipset. I know the memory controller's in there, because AMD doesn't have integrated memory controllers, but still, I mean, I can't get over how much power that dissipates. There's just heat bellowing out of the top of this thing. Like, there's an actual draft of hot air coming up from here just from convection. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm just gonna shut this down because honestly, I'm bored at this point. It's becoming more of a hassle than what I really wanted out of it. So yeah, that was a dickering around with some now very hot 10,000 RPM drives. So I'll just shut them down with the good old power switch. That was probably the most satisfying thing out of this whole operation. So yeah, I'm gonna take the drives out. I'm just gonna put in my floppy controller, or my floppy drive, get the stuff off the floppies, which is really what I sort of intended to do originally. And I'll probably just do this in a VM because this is too much hassle. Thanks for watching.